Hey everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is Pathologic 3. Pathologic 3 is a narrative survival game where your choices really hold weight. The game has you play as Daniil Dankosvsky, a doctor who goes to a remote town to investigate a mysterious plague that befalls the town. While trying to control the outbreak and prevent disaster, the town will fight back and hinder his progress. There is more than just the townsfolk obstructing him, however, as he soon comes to find out that some mysterious paranormal anomalies are also at play. Only through determination and careful planning will he managed to survive and save the town in the 12 allotted days. But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat? This is a very, very detail-oriented game from the get-go, and maybe it does fall in line with the fact that you're playing as a doctor. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, what if saving a town from a plague felt like being a hero and more like getting drafted into the Timekeepers? I mean, what in the Marvel is going on? I mean, except Loki is like already messed everything up, and now it's somehow your fault, Henrik. I mean, that's how I felt when I was playing this game. Just the idea that you can backtrack to fix the flaws that already hit you on day one is definitely quite a trip and a half, I would say.
Yeah, it's kind of like time travel in a sense kind of thing, because you're having this conversation and as it's developing with this detective, you're realizing, oh wait, not everything's been set in stone just yet. I can still change things if I need to. I can go and, make this choice over here, which the choices do really matter in this game, as you can see from even there being a menu option where you pull up this huge flow chart of your choices and what has trickled down in terms of the consequences. Yeah, this is one of those games that when you hop in, you're really getting into the weeds of things, because you got to pay attention to what people say and you got to pay attention to what you say to people, because it will matter.
Absolutely. And Pathologic 3 throws you into a remote town with 12 days on a clock. There's a mysterious plague that, holy cow, we really got to live through another plague all over again. I mean, COVID was already a nightmare alone, but this thing in this game is spreading fast. And so you're playing as the Bachelor. He is a medical prodigy chasing proof of immortality, only to arrive by train and immediately fumble the one patient who mattered. And in the game, Henrik really wastes no time telling you that you failed. And then it goes full Marvel by rewinding the timeline and asking you to fix your own mistakes before the town collapses again.
Yeah, and you'll have to find your way through those mistakes many a time. And don't expect to know the right solution the first time around, because you're not going to.
Yeah,
it's pretty much expected.
I'm with you. And I feel like this story doesn't hold your hand. It hands you guilt, regret, and a really notebook full of bad decisions you get to relive. And then the narrative constantly asks if saving lives is worth becoming the villain of the town. And Henrik, I've got to ask you, I mean, do you think the ability to rewind mistakes makes the story deeper, or just makes the regret hit harder when you still mess it up?
Probably more of the latter, because you realize, oh yeah, that one little thing I said to someone, yeah, Timmy's dead because of that now. Things like that,
Right, exactly.
So it's like, man, like it plays into a little bit of that butterfly effect theory, where it's like every little small thing you do trickles down and ends up being a big consequence when it really comes down to it. But at the same time, it does immerse you in the story, because you get to see all these different outcomes and all these different facets of choices that are presented to you. And you have to figure out which is the right one to progress your storyline.
Yeah, and everything lives inside your head through the mind maps, which was what you were talking about earlier. That almost looks like a spreadsheet. Mind maps and reasoning, where thoughts, clues, and memories connect like a conspiracy board that actively judges you. It's pretty funny. And while your mental state swings between apathy and mania like a broken metronome, you're diagnosing, patients, you're going to be enforcing quarantines, you're going to have to choose who gets medicine, who doesn't, and then deciding when order matters more than compassion. And so, Henrik, is this brilliant psychological tension, or is the game daring us players to emotionally short circuit? Because that's kind of how I felt. I was moving pretty fast.
Well, that's the thing. You can't always move too fast. You got to take a little bit of your time with these choices and really immerse yourself and consider all the options. And if you don't, that's when you maybe get the consequences that are bad, or you have to go through more effort than you should to just get the outcome you want. And at the same time, you've also got these paranormal things chasing you around, which are based off the local folklore. And that's a bit of the survival horror aspect, which, just throwing that on top of a plague going on, that's just brutal at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah. And, and the town is oppressive. It's bleak.
Yep.
Very unsettling in all the right ways. But I got to say, Henrik, the dialogue scenes are where I felt the immersion completely face plants. I mean, because NPCs start talking to you like they're like a car wash inflatable tube dancer with like zero emotions. I mean, what the hell was that? I mean, they take you to like a black backdrop, and then all of a sudden they want you to be driven by the conversation and morale pressure, but then you're watching these characters bob their heads with no facial reactions. That to me honestly felt less haunting and more like unintentionally hilarious. How did you feel about that?
Now, I kind of feel somewhat similar about that as well, especially when you get some of these dialogue options for your character, Daniil. It's just like, who would say this to a child? Like, what are you doing?
But then I guess that's why people really love like New Vegas, for example, with some of the most outlandish statements. Like, you're really about to say that to somebody? Who even thought about writing that? But then it's like, I don't know. It really pulled me away, because it's like, you got this beautiful environment. Why would you bring the black backdrop and then bring it into this character that's kind of just like sitting there like a Dodger bobblehead, and then there's no voiceover actors? That to me, it's painful, because it's very story driven.
Because you don't want to read everything?
No, yeah, you have to read. You have to be your own voiceover actor in a sense. And like, I don't know, I felt like that totally pulled me away from it. But then again, it's like Pathologic 3 doesn't care if you liked, or it cares if you're right, and even then it might still punish you for just trying. And so, like, Henrik, knowing that this game lets you rewind time but never erase guilt, is that the kind of experience you'd be willing to sign up for again? Because I gotta say, like, this one earns a pause. I wouldn't do this all over again. And I never played the first two, and I felt it didn't really feel like I needed to play the back two. You could really jump into this, but I don't.
Yeah, you don't have to play the first two to get into this one. I would say it's kind of a separate story from the others. I mean, it helps maybe, but it's not really a necessity, I would say. In terms of just the overall feel of the game and how it, and whether or not it actually grabbed my attention, this is a very niche game for sure. I mean, I'm not going to, say that it's a game for everyone, because it's really not. It's a game that it's niche, but it also knows its audience at the same time, I would say. And they can really play into that because of how niche it is. And, I'm not ashamed of saying in previous pause repeats that there's been times where I'll play a game and all of a sudden, some dialogue will come up and I'll just skip it, because it's like, this is not the right moment for dialogue. But this is a game that really, like you said, focuses on the dialogue as the meat and potatoes of the game. So I realized that from the start and said, I'll give it a chance to sink in and immerse myself in it. And actually, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the whole, like you said, almost like Marvel Loki like going back and making different choices sort of feel to the storytelling as well. And it actually really clicked for me on a certain level that maybe I wasn't even necessarily expecting out of a game like this, because I hadn't really played or seen much of the first two. I'd always heard that the second game was great though, but that was just my experience, and because of that, it's a repeat for me.
Yeah, I know you like to work the microscope. You like to siphon through documents. You love to read, baby. I do as well, but it was just, I don't know. It just felt so tough, and I really wanted to love it, but I just felt like there were so many marks that it missed. But then that's the beauty
Right.
about it. You're finding, we're about 50-50. I'm saying pause, Hendrik's saying a repeat, and that's where we want to throw it to you, the gamers. If you had the power to rewind time but still had to live with the consequences, how far would you go to save everyone before losing yourself in the process? Let us know what's good.